We have a huge guest today.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely huge guest today that I needed for episode 1 of the show. He may be the biggest Yankee fan on planet Earth. He has over 90,000 subscribers on YouTube. Dan Allen Rourke. Let's get into the episode. Okay, episode 1, we have a very, very special guest, the owner of Yankees Avenue, the #1 Aaron Judge fan in the entire world, Dan Allen Rourke. Dan, how are you?
Dude, I'm doing great. I'm not sure how much of a special guest I really am, but I'm happy to be here. It's the best week of the year. I think I consider all baseball fans, even, fans of the not so good teams. We're all thriving right now, bro. So I'm doing good. I know you are too. It's good to be here, bro. Good to be here.
Yeah, I have to ask right away. First of all, we've never even really met each other, talked to each other. We've liked each other from afar and really getting excited for the year. But I have to ask about Aaron Judge. We have to start with the offseason. I bet you're happy about the deal getting done. Were you scared at all?
I was really scared, man. Now, going into the offseason, I wasn't all that nervous because this is one of those instances where I had legitimate faith in the Yankees. And this is obviously all before, people are feeling good now with the Volpe stuff. But at that point, Yankees questionable decisions in their past. And I was wondering, would they really do the extra mile for Judge? And I remember clear as day after the Heyman report came out, the Arson Judge thing, I was sure as hell he was gone, dude. So much so where that night I had a dream that was so real, felt so real, it might as well have been, to where it was as if Judge went to the Giants, and I kid you not, Jimmy, in this dream I was sobbing, dude, and it was quite pathetic, and I knew I can't actually cry in real life, but the fact that I was able to get it out in that dream that night, and then I woke up the next day to the Judge news, I was able to kind of experience, in that dream, the lows of Judge might be a Giant, and then it all kind of worked out, but yeah, dude, it was scary. It really, really was.
Yeah, Manfred was toying with us having the Giants come first day. It was a little weird. It felt a little weird. All right, let's start. You're obviously one of the biggest Yankee fans. What is your earliest memory of being a Yankee fan? What got you so passionate that you are the Yankees fan that became today?
Yeah, so it's definitely, I'll touch on it a lot, but A-Rod for sure. I was an A-Rod fan before even being a Yankee fan, really just because, not even that I initially liked him as much as I ended up liking him, but he was so just fascinating. Everything he did, bro. He was the first TMZ athlete type guy in my life to where he was a celebrity outside the game. So I was kind of drawn from that aspect when I was 7 or 8. But I was a casual Yankee fan until around 2011. So I watched the 2009 playoffs, but more so just I was just a casual viewer in the room. 2010, watched a couple of regular season games, but by 2011, I'll never forget it. I don't know what clicked. I came home from 5th grade I didn't even know if it was opening day, but I came home. There was 2 boxes of pizza on the table. I sat down with my dad. Next thing you know, I don't think I ever missed, maybe 1 or 2, but since that point, I really haven't missed any regular season games. So going on, I guess a decade now of that. And I don't know, because I haven't really seen, it's not I was brought up in the 90s championships. I haven't really seen much winning, but yeah, I don't know. About 10 years now. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy because my thoughts and memories of A-Rod are how he was trying to tackle Jeter, and I really had to bring myself a few years back. I didn't understand all this A-Rod love, and when you really reel it all the way back, he was on the 2009 team. He got it done in the postseason, so it kind of makes sense. But you're talking about A-Rod. I actually had a question. Obviously, you're a huge fan. I saw something that he was following you. I was doing some research, and I found he followed you, then he unfollowed you because he heard you say something.
Yeah. So A-Rod, he first followed me a few years ago, which obviously to me was yo, what the hell? And it was probably just one of his interns, but whatever. Maybe he was sick. So about a couple months ago, I posted a clip from my show, the Yankees Av Show, where we were talking about should A-Rod be in the Hall of Fame. And I established very on that I'm the biggest A-Rod fan of all time. But with that said, and this is all in the clip, I wouldn't put him in the Hall of Fame because my whole thing is like, if you use twice, especially when it's so clear that steroids are like illegal, same with Manny Ramirez in 2011 when he got popped for the second time. That to me is like, all right, you kind of knew what you're doing. So that was the logic I was putting towards it. I posted that clip to Instagram, and I kind of just assumed like, because I knew A-Rod followed me, but it's like, yo, he ain't actually checking my posts and stuff.
Right.
Sure as hell, bro. 15, 20 minutes later, unfollowed. So, but in a way, that's kind of, I kind of think that sounds cool. It's like, yo, I got beef with A-Rod. So I kind of like spin it that way. When in reality, I'm like crying myself to sleep at night. But
I wish I had beef with A-Rod. Honestly, like, I haven't, and people get so bent out of shape with the whole Hall of Fame stuff. Like, I think I'm pretty sure like my biggest numbers ever on a tweet are me just like freaking out about how David Ortiz is in the Hall of Fame and Barry Bonds isn't. So like people get really bent out of shape with all that stuff. And you know, A-Rod, like, if David Ortiz is in the Hall of Fame, sure, A-Rod could be in the Hall of Fame, but like you're absolutely right. If Barry Bonds isn't getting the Hall of Fame, A-Rod's not getting the Hall of Fame. So I completely agree with you. And honestly, good for you for standing up. Like he may be your favorite player, but you can say like, yeah, he has some flaws. Like every single has flaws, and that's what I love about you, and that's why I wanted you on, because like you're gonna tell it how it as it is. You know, we're not gonna have some reporter on it first, like just like, you know, I don't really know what we're gonna really say here because I don't know. James, you might like
totally. And yo, real quick on the Ortiz thing, because this stuff, like I've been like so fast with all this stuff for years. And Bonds, first of all, I mean, that's like not even, I don't think I have to go into that. Like, it's a no-brainer. He should be in the Hall of Fame. I think same with Clemens. With Ortiz, though, it's interesting because his case to me is that not the same, because obviously A-Rod was a much better player, but his situation was A-Rod if he didn't use a second time. So he tested positive in the Mitchell report that came out, and I'm convinced that if A-Rod never had that second go around with the biogenesis, Tony Bosch in like 2011, 2012, if he just had that first go around where he was using with the Rangers, got caught a few years later, and you know everybody was doing it back then, I think he would have been okay. But it's just that second time, and the fact that you know he sued his own team, sued his own doctor, sued the union that was representing him. Like, it was a complete and utter shit show. Ortiz, on the other hand, like he just used that one time, and I would put him in. It's tough, man. It really, really is. I don't think it's black and white, because the way I look at it is this: if say Tatis, for example, you know, he just got popped. If he goes on to use, everybody says, "Oh, let anybody in, no matter what. Talent is talent." But if Tatis goes on to use steroids, let's just say for argument's sake, the next 20 years, hit 600 home runs, does that mean we just let him in? Like, just because I feel like the era matters, the context matters. So it's not just like a black and white thing, but yeah, dude, that gets people riled up.
And I'll bring you behind the curtain a little bit, because I used to go to the All-Star game since I was like 10 years old all the way till I was like 22. I went to every All-Star game, like had credentials to go in, just was lucky like that. And David Ortiz was the nicest guy to every single person. He would take reporters out to dinner. You'd see him at the bars with reporters. One night I was at a hotel. I saw Derek Jeter walk by, just the two of us. I was like, "Hey, Derek, can I have your autograph?" A 12-year-old kid. And he was like, and he pretending like he didn't know me. Ortiz is there and he's signing for me, hugging me. And that's how you get votes.
I was going to say, I know you're getting at here, dude. Absolutely. Same with Bonds, man. And this is where it's so ridiculous. And I'm not even talking like, you know, players or controversy. I'm just talking the fact that there's definitely voters that, in Bonds' case, didn't vote for him because they just didn't like him and they thought he was rude, which he definitely was. But that stuff you really got to put to the side. And I think you're 1,000% right with Ortiz. Like, he was beloved in the game. I think he's a Hall of Fame regardless, but that definitely helps his case a little bit. It shouldn't, but it does. And A-Rod's disliked. So there you go. I mean, it's messy, dude. It really is. And I'm not going to lie to you, dude. I've kind of gotten tired of the whole conversation over the last few years. Like, when it comes up and like, oh, who would you vote for? Who would you not? I kind of just want to let it play out. But I'm starting to think, like, I guess none of them are really going to get in. I mean, at this rate, is Bonds off now? Was that it?
I don't know how it works anymore. They make new rules up every single like.
And then you had the Veterans Committee, but like, there's no chance Bonds is getting in through that, or A-Rod. Exactly. So it'll probably be. It sucks. It does.
All right, let's get into like a Yankees 2023 preview. Got questions for you. I am super excited about Anthony Volpe. Like, I usually use the eye test. I saw him like, okay, this guy can play shortstop. He's deserving. And And then I like read up. I saw your tweets about him. How excited are you for this kid?
Stoked, dude. I mean, real quick, just on opening day in particular. I mean, can you imagine the difference in energy, the difference in vibes? Not, I don't want to like disrespect Peraza or nothing, but even just that, like compared to Peraza starting opening day compared to Volpe, there's an energy surrounding this team, like with that and Judge coming back as captain, but mostly putting Volpe on the team on the opening day roster. I think it was such a no-brainer, not only because you labeled it a competition and he was the standout by far, but I mean, you're really kind of setting yourself up for a much more exciting season, like ratings wise. I mean, you kind of know what the Yankees like where part of their mindset comes from. I mean, it was a no-brainer, just marketability alone. I think one, he's going to be really damn good, probably going to be a top 3 rookie of the year pick. And I think if he's top 2, the Yankees get a draft pick back as well, or top 3, which I mean, that kind of a shoo-in, I would say. So you have that. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a top 10 jersey sell by the end of the year. I mean, the dude's a stud and probably the closest we've had to like I know he's not exactly a 5-tool player, but probably like the best 4.5 we've had in quite some time. I mean, he's pretty much got it all. The fielding is there.
Yeah.
Definitely. I know they say that's like his weakest link, but I mean, if you saw some of the plays he made today on Tuesday in that exhibition against the Nationals, I mean, this dude is ready. The speed is going to be insane. I mean, watching that clip the other day where Rizzo was up to bat, Volpe was on second, you just see him dancing off there, and the pitcher kind of looks like, I mean, I'm not sure if he was, ends up throwing a ball, walks Rizzo, and it's like, yo, that could be an actual. It's like that scene from 42, where Jackie's dancing off third, and then the pitcher gets all like messed up, and he balks him, and then the lady goes, "What happened?" And the kid goes, "He discombobulated the man." That's what I think Volpe's going. He's going to discombobulate a lot of pitchers on the base pass, and that's just one aspect of how much of an advantage you're going to have having him on the roster.
Yeah, and I think there was like a little bit of like the media like talking down Volpe's glove because they thought Peraza was making the team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I got in a little bit of a Twitter tiff with Andy Martino, who like, and I tried to not do that stuff anymore, but like I was just like, hey, like listen, like Volpe's better. Like 2 weeks ago, I'm like, listen, 6 weeks ago, I was saying Volpe's better. Like I think Peraza's good.
Yeah.
He's fine. I'm not sure about his bat yet, but like as a full player, as a shortstop, I think Volpe's better. And Martino was like, "Oh, this guy knows more than all the scouts." It's like, yeah, my eyes know baseball.
And you know what that is too, dude? And this is something that kind of irritates me, but a lot of these reporters, and you'll see this with like, say if I were to like go the route of just playing things safe, they just assume all these roster projections like Peraza is going to be on there because it's the safe route to go. They didn't think there was any possibility that Volpe was going to be on there. And I want to give credit to the Yankees. They made the right choice. And I don't blame people for being like pessimistic in this regard where like, the way the Yankees operate, I mean, we saw it a few years ago with Gleyber. There was a good chance, at least entering the spring, he was going to be put down for service time alone. And I think part of this goes back to Hal getting booed last year. I think he stepped in on Judge. We know he stepped in on Judge. I think he kind of stepped in on this too. Many suspect Cashman wanted Peraza. I wouldn't be shocked if you watched that video. Did you see the one? I mean, I'm not reading too much of this. I think it's kind of funny. The video of Boone telling Boone telling Volpe he made the roster. When Cashman gives him his congratulations, he doesn't sound all that thrilled. So that's just me speculating. But I think Hal played a big part in this, kind of like stepping in and making sure like they did the right thing, and they did. So want to give him credit because we will roast them, but I think we should give him credit when it's due. Like, this was a really awesome decision by them.
No, absolutely. Like every single year I give Boone the clean slate. Listen, I have been pretty vocal about how I don't think he's the greatest manager, and I think that comes down to more postseason decisions than regular season because it's tough to manage a team through 162. But no, they did all the right things, and I'm only going to really be vocal and mad in April if something I think is completely wrong, like Aaron Judge not being on the roster on Martin Luther King Day when they're promoting him the entire day, stuff like that just drives me insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, like stuff like that, like they just made the right move. And I think they were kind of torn a little bit too because we have guys on the IL pitching wise, and they're like, we don't want to start the season with these pissed off fans again without a shortstop. So I think it was the right move.
Absolutely.
I was watching Yankees Avenue. Go subscribe. Yankees Avenue, 90,000 subscribers. That takes heart, people. I saw you said that Anthony Rizzo was shifted 82% of the time last year.
Yes.
Do you think that this new rule is gonna change the way he approaches the game and his numbers in general?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Now, I saw a report or an article rather, that took his stats, I guess, with exit velos and just like spray charts, all that, to where he was a 224 hitter last year. If you just by this numbers, I'm not expecting this drastic of a change, but just to show you what this article said or tell you, it had his average going from 224 to 273 if there were no shift last year. Once again, that much is not going to happen. But I wouldn't be surprised if we get a 250 Rizzo this year. And hey, even so, I mean, he's already productive. I mean, he had career high 32 home runs last year, which he's done 4 times, which is insane. But it was still really good for us last year. So even if that's like the floor of what he's going to be this year, like an 830 OPS guy, good defense, like you have that with the potential of, he might be a 250 hitter. On base could go up, more consistent at bats. I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really interesting. It's such a good stat that like 82% of ship. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm obviously a huge Rizzo fan. We both have the ZZOs at the end of our names. So
dude. I didn't watch the '90s Yankees, of course, but he seems like he would fit. Doesn't he kind of get? He has those vibes.
He's like Tino with a little bit less anger. Like, honestly. All right. Rodon and Sevy start the season on the IL. How concerned are you on the rotation?
Honestly, dude, I'm not all that concerned. Now, first on Sevy, him in particular, him individually, I don't even want to say I'm concerned. I'm more so just like exhausted on the whole thing every single year. We know how the Yankees are about timetables. His is the one I'm not believing. And it's not like, they don't have the right information on him or whatever. It just always seems Sevy's injuries drag out. Not saying he's going to miss the whole entire year, but am I expecting him to be back like end of April? Probably not. Rodon, on the other hand, the other day he threw a 30-pitch bullpen. They're saying he could be back, I think April 18th was the day I saw. So that's 2.5 weeks from now. The way I look at it is, you got to get by 1 month of having Johnny Brito start, essentially, because Rodon's going to be back soon. Johnny Brito is a pretty damn good pitcher, man. Now, he's not flashy. He's not going to strike out 1 million guys a game, but ground ball, pretty good, really good ground ball rate, has a nasty changeup, pitched well in the spring, too, a 2.08 ERA. And in the minors last year was solid. Like, had a 2.9 ERA in 26 games between double and AAA. And even if he's not all that great, the Yankees, they only have to really get by with him for a month. Now, their depth, I would say, is a little bit concerning because if you have another injury happen, then you are kind of getting a little bit beat. I mean, Davies looked good this spring. You have him. There's Matt Crook as well. A couple other guys, too. But I think I would want to see them sign like some like free agent starting, like a Chris Archer type thing. Just get one of those guys, put them in AAA. But like, as for what the current situation is, knowing Rodon, and I do expect him to be back, knowing he's going to be back by like third week of April, it's really just Sevy that I'm concerned about. But I think they can get by. I really do.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I had a fancy draft yesterday, drafted Rodon. I was like, listen, if I can get him for $14, I'm going to do it every single time. So,
right.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm concerned about Severino, and I kind of have a crazy question. I mean, it's another lat issue. When he's healthy, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. But every year he's injured. Should they seriously consider putting him in the bullpen and maybe just having him work it out a little bit?
I don't know, because if there were a better option, like say we had I don't know, there were like 6 really good starters that we had to figure out who the 5 were going to be, then I think that would maybe be a good way to go. But I don't know. I mean, the Yankee bullpen I have a lot of faith in, so I don't think they're like lacking in that area, even though they have injuries there as well. I think they do need him. Like, if you're going to be able to get him back, and like that is huge. I mean, I think they made the right choice last year when they put him on that 60-day IL, which he was really pissed about. But in the end, to be honest, dude, when he came back in September, I think that might have been the best version of Sevy that we've ever seen. I mean, the stuff looked phenomenal. Fastball life has always been there, but like the changeup looked great. The slider was probably the best I ever saw it. You get that Sevy back. I mean, that's the guy we were expecting going into this year. I'm not expecting that though anymore. And I'm past like I was down to bring him back after this year. And it's, part of it is like the Baby Bombers connection. I mean, like you'll probably roast for this. Like, I'm so attached to those Baby Bomber Yankees. I would bring Gary Sanchez back right now in a minor league deal. But I do got to kind of put that to the side and realize like Sevy may not be it. So hopefully he comes back this year. I think he eventually will at some point. I'm kind of good long term though.
It's a dumb question. It's a dumb question. It's just a question I have to throw out there because I learned from, I think it was last spring training when I went after Sevy. I was like, listen, like we cannot have Luis Severino as our number 2 starter. And it wasn't because of his stuff. His stuff is ridiculous. Everybody knows that. but he's always hurt. And I'm like, well, maybe if we can get 75 innings out of him pitching 3-4 times a week, I don't really know how that projects. But maybe that's an option. Obviously, because the rotation is just futile right now, it doesn't really make sense. And so I guess you can't really do it, but it's just always a thought I had, even maybe in the future, if you want to bring him back, think about maybe having him be a closer type role. I know it was crazy.
No, I think it's crazy to bring up the idea of, and I hate this phrase to death, but load management. I mean, I think maybe even if he's not hurt, I wouldn't be shocked if say Sebby comes back and the Yankees want to make sure he's ready. And this is essentially what they did last year with that 6-day IL, to where you kind of just give him a phantom IL stint because dude, if you don't, this guy is going to break down. And honestly, the more I think about it, best case scenario might be what he did last year. What did he make? 20 starts and was healthy for October. Knock on wood for that. I feel wouldn't you say that's almost best case scenario at this point with Sebby?
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
It's kind of how we treat Giancarlo. It's well, if he's playing outfield by July, then it's okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you're basically ramping up Severino. I mean, he pitched crazy good against the Guardians in that game. He did everything he needed to do. And that actually will bring me to the question, who I am usually positive, going to try to stay positive about this guy. This is just one guy that I do not understand the noise on, and I know he was put in a lot of difficult situations last year, but Clarke Schmidt, I mean, a lot of people are high on him. I was doing my fantasy stuff, and I was researching, and people are saying that he could be a guy, and I mean, I hope I am the most wrong human being on Clarke Schmidt that there ever was, but I'm a little bit nervous about him, and just give me a little brevity. Tell me that it's going to be okay.
Well, honestly, okay, so here's the way I look at it. I'm with you. The eye test thing for me is something where when I watch Clarke pitch, particularly honestly as a starter, actually, but when I see him start a game, I really don't have all that much confidence. I don't think he looks good at all. However, it's one of those cases where, especially with pitching, I put the eye test to the side because the numbers love him, dude. The breaking ball, his curveball, the spin rate on that is apparently 90, up to the 97th percentile of pitches in MLB. It's nasty. And, first round pick, homegrown Yankee, so I am excited to see him get a shot. Looked okay in spring. I know a lot of the, I'm not all that analytic. I mean, I read into them, but I also I'm not religious about them. Yeah. But the analytic people seem to really be praising him. That, like I said, his stuff is crazy. So when it comes to that, I kind of just put a blind eye toward it and say, all right, let's see if you're right. I am excited for Clarke this year. I definitely am excited. I'm a little nervous about it.
Being that guy too, that's just I don't believe in him, because again, I've really dialed it back. I'm trying to be more of a nice guy, I'm a positive guy. I think that it helps in the long run. I mean, by July, I've been burnt out in years past.
Right.
But I full on I was 10 feet away from Aaron Boone last year, screaming at the top of my lungs, calling him a loser because he took Garrett Cole out and brought in Clarke Schmidt, in a game that the Yankees needed to win or they were going home. Mm-hmm. So I know that it's impossible. They put him in an impossible situation.
Yeah.
But it just, I think honestly, maybe that's more on Boone than it is on Clarke Schmidt. But there were a couple of times last year when it was oh, Clark's doing it. I remember he came in, he pitched 4 innings in relief sometime in September, and his curveball was working. So I mean, Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde on him. But really good to hear your thoughts on him.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I just had some stats.
I was going to say, with Schmidt, the player that I saw, the pitcher that I saw was a guy that I would want pitching, and I feel good about with a 4-run lead. It's where, say, you're entering the 7th inning, you need 3 innings out of a guy that pen with a 4-run cushion. That to me is all right, that's the guy you go to. Not necessarily high leverage, but to eat some innings, maybe a tier below Michael King, for now, at least, if you will.
Tanyan Sturts.
What's that?
Someone like Tanyan Sturts. I don't know if you remember Tanyan Sturts.
I don't know that. That's dude, that hurts me so bad. When I don't know a baseball player that somebody brings up, I'm fuck, is he Yankee?
Yankee, yeah. But I mean, it was he would used to come in if Mike Machina was having a bad day or whatever, he pitched 3 innings, 4th, 5th, 6th. More
I promise you.
Type of player. So
next time you have me on your show, Jimmy, I will be able to give you the entire Wikipedia page on him. Okay. Guarantee it.
Honestly, kind of low key, one of my favorite players. Just
word.
Could do it. All right, cool. And Yeah, hello. What are your stats? Tell us what
Yeah,
the stats
so I
are.
want to circle back. So on the spin, so this is something that the Yankees like about him. His curve spin is 94th percentile, and the fastball spins in the 93rd percentile. The thing that stands off the page negatively is he does the barrel percentage is the 12th percentile and the walk percentage in the 25th percentile. So there's some stats that kind of balance out each other, two negative ones, two positive ones, trying to even it out there.
Barrel
Look at that.
percentage.
Great job.
That's pretty horrible, actually. 12th percentile, as in they're barreling him up.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
not good.
And
That's not good.
the walk thing kills me.
Oh,
He comes
God.
in and like sometimes he throws 11 straight balls, and my hair's getting lost, and I'm throwing things. So yeah, I'll try not to do that this year with Clark Schmidt. And as a baseball purist, like, how do you feel about the clock, like in general?
I like it. I do. I think it could use a few more seconds, and I don't want it to be. I'm more irritated with like the constant like the conversation about whether rules should be tweaked. Although I am one that thinks that you should, like I said, add a few seconds onto it. Just because I think within like a month or two, and the WBC maybe messed it a little bit, but once we get into the flow of the regular season, within a month, I think most people are going to get over it. But at the same time, while I'm cool with it, if some, like, say you want, for example, like I do get that in a way, especially like if you're watching this game for a long ass time and then they just implement this clock and some other changes too, I could understand why you might be a little bit thrown off. I would be shocked if everybody kind of gets over it quick. What about you?
I love it. I love it. Manfred's been trying to do this for like 10, 15 years now. I think I really, really enjoy it. I'm going to be upset when I go on Thursday and I can't go to get anything, a milkshake, a hot dog, a pretzel. I think we're going Lucky Pretzel this year. The hot dog is out.
Is it?
Spoken. They're like, you haven't won since the Lucky Hot Dog. And I'm like, that's pretty fair. It's not that lucky, I guess.
Yeah, fair.
So I guess we're going Lucky Pretzel this year, I guess. But yeah, no, I love it. Other than I think the fan experience at the ballpark is going to suffer. But as far as I think it's going to help, like, I think it might help families, like people like a guy being like, yeah, I only have to watch this for 2 hours. Like, it's going to help us as content creators that we're not sitting there for 4 hours and then have to do a wrap up show or whatever we do.
Definitely.
Editing all night. So like, I think it saves us 162 hours.
Without question. That part of it is really nice. Like, we are getting essentially like an extra, like, save an hour on like productivity in a way. Like you said, like, game's over. All right, cool. Maybe I get to record a recap show 45 minutes earlier than I would have been able to, and then the rest of the day is different. So I think that's really going to be nice, especially when you're at home watching. Good point, though, about the food thing. That's tough, especially because everybody else is going to have that same thing in mind about like rushing to the food stands, and the lines might be crazy too. I don't go to too many games, though. I really don't, especially because, I mean, I love going to games. I do. I went to about 3 last year, but it's tough because I don't really have any for like Yanks. I have to do clips and stuff, and I'm very like control about that. Like, I got to make sure, like opening day, for example, got to get all like the clips out and stuff. So unless I can bring my laptop in the Yankee Stadium, I'm probably beat on opening day. But
yeah, I mean, listen, I feel you. We'll get you to a game though. We'll get you to one game.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We'll get you down to section 129. We're right where between where the people are telling you to sit down and people just go nuts. That's
still the greatest video of all time. ALCS Game 3 2019. Amazing. Dude, I'm not sure if that's when I like found out about you, but that was like the ultimate respect moment. I was like, this dude's a fucking guy. Hell yeah. Need more of that, bro.
I did not know that was going viral, but I was at CBS Sports and one of my coworkers came in. He was like, hey dude, you're everywhere. You're like everywhere on the internet right now. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. I kind of went nuts yesterday. And like,
yeah, rightfully so.
He's drunk, all this stuff, straight Diet Coke. Swear to God.
Word. You didn't even come off like drunk in that. Like, you were very straightforward about your thoughts. I thought it was
like
it was well said and needed to be said, and still kind of needs to be said sometimes. But
appreciate that. No, yeah. I try. I just try to reel it back for the moments that is necessary for them.
Yeah, I mean, playoffs, anything's on the table too. So
absolutely,
you were well within your right.
I don't know. Okay, so it's episode 1. We're going to try a segment. I do this on Twitter all the time. It's called Fill in the Blank. Word. So I'm going to give you a question real quick, and you're just going to give me your answer. Really simple stuff. I mean, I'm not going to, there's no questions about, theology or anything in here. All right. Question number one, and I think you said it before, but Anthony Volpe will finish blank in AL Rookie of the Year voting.
Cheap answer, but first.
Okay.
Very confident in that, actually. Very confident. I'll shave my head if he doesn't. Just kidding. I said that about IKF starting opening day, apparently. Thank God that didn't happen. But, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and okay. Well, we'll just leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. And also, quick plug for Dan here. He has these Aaron Judge and Anthony Volpe shirts out. Go check those shirts out. Actually, when we put this out, somebody who retweets it is getting one of those shirts we're going to buy. We're going to support Yankees Avenue.
Thank you, dude.
We're going to get one of those for one of the people who retweet on Twitter. But yeah, honestly, those shirts are fire. So whoever made those.
My boy Benji Goldstein. He's awesome. He's on Twitter. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're buying them. Okay. Fill in the blank. Question 2. Garrett Cole will have blank wins in 2023.
17.
Okay.
I like it. 17. 19 is too boring. I feel like CeCe had 19 wins like every single year as a Yankee. So I want something different. Like give me a high win total. Not quite 20 because rare these days, but 17.
I'm worried about him just because he's gonna have to be a horse. Like, he's a crazy person as it is, but like he has to be the horse like right opening day, and he has to feel that pressure. But I think he loves that pressure.
Which shout out Garrett Cole, especially just on one thing. And I know there's not too many. I don't even know where you stand on like Cole, how much you like him or don't, but
I love
even him. For the to the Garrett Cole haters out there, like you have to give this guy credit that he's out there every single start. If there's one thing you can pencil in about Garrett Cole's season is he's going to make 30 plus starts, probably 33. And with the way the Yankees rotation is shaped out with the injuries and stuff, like that's huge, especially these days, man. Every pitcher gets fucking hurt, but not Garrett Cole. Yeah. So I cursed a couple times in this episode.
No, don't worry about it. We're still figuring out what we want to do. I mean, this is good. It's fine. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I have to add a stat in here. As after the 2020 season, from 2021 through 2022, Garrett Cole has only had 3 injury stints, one only being a COVID injury stint.
Oh, yes, that don't even count.
Yeah, that doesn't even count. No, I the biggest Garrett Cole fan, I will say, just because, and I backed off on Cashman for 2.5 years because he went out and he paid $300 million to get him. And, like, obviously, he's been a top 5% starting pitcher, and that's what you pay the guy for. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see with him.
One real quick I want to say on him, we talked about it a little bit with Stan, but more so just like from a performance basis to Cole. Down year kind of last year, 3.5 ERA. But I think the most badass thing of all time is when like a player has like a subpar year, struggles or is hurt. But when you show up in October, which he did, that started against Houston, which wasn't even all that bad. Like you said, Boone kind of messed him up there a little bit. But that game against Cleveland, both of them. And then that Houston one, but he was money in the playoffs, Garrett Cole, which is awesome.
Yeah, he's a gamer. All right, question number 3. Your boy, Aaron James Judge, will have blank home runs in 2023.
54. I see him replicating 07 A-Rod. Not the 156 RBIs, but yeah, 54 home runs. I can't pick him to hit 60 again, right? I think it's possible, but like there's no way he does it this year. I think what we might get is I think he's gonna hit 54 this year. He'll finish second to Shohei in the MVP, but next year in 2024, when Shohei's with his new team, a little bit too much pressure for him. He's kind of afraid of the bright lights. Maybe not so much after the WBC. He's going to slump a little bit, have a down first year. Judge is going to bounce back with maybe float with 60 homers, win his second MVP in 2024. But this year, 54 homers.
I love it.
I got it all laid out, bro. It's just like the shit I think at night.
No, this is perfect. Great for social clips too. Absolutely amazing. All right. Now this is my guy, the guy that I'm really hyped about. The Martian, Jason Dominguez, will play blank games for the Yankees in 2023.
This is a really good one. I'm gonna go with 0. Yeah. I'm gonna go with 0, while acknowledging that it's possible, which is something I wouldn't have said a month ago. I thought there really wasn't a chance. But what was he at Double A last year, or was he still in High A? Why does it slip my mind?
He played a little bit of Double.
A little bit of Double A. So I guess they probably want to get like some more time there and maybe some Triple A. But I think if he tears the cover off the ball, like has a crazy minor league season after the spring he had and how good he looked, I think it's possible. My prediction, no, I'm going to go with 0.
Yeah, that's fair. I just I have to be the guy that's just like putting pressure on the Yankees at all time with these guys, because it's like at the end of the day, like if he's not the guy now, that's fine. You can send him down, but like Dude, he looks kind of like a young Manny Ramirez when he's up there. Like, as far as putting the barrel on the bat, his defense obviously needs help, but like, so does Kyle Schwarber. So, I mean, what are we saying?
And also, like, Dominguez is a crazy athlete, so you hope that'll, he'll just be able to figure it out in the outfield. One thing on it, though, I would be a little bit nervous if the Yankees, and I don't think it's going to happen, but say they did consider him to be like, if you're going to call him up, probably to be a starting guy, right? So would that mean he's like the answer in left field, for example? Instead of going out and getting a bat at the deadline, you decide to call up Dominguez. Certainly would be exciting, but I look at an ALCS against the Astros, I would probably, if you can get him, like a sure thing, and not even saying Brian Reynolds, but an established big leader in an ALCS against the Astros over like a young Jason Dominguez. I don't know. I wouldn't want them to bank on that at the deadline and be like, you know what, he's having a great in the minors, let's bring him up now. I'd rather them go out and get an established like stud if you could for this year.
Yeah, and as far as positivity goes, like obviously, like if Dominguez is up, that means that somebody's hurt or Waldo it is injured or something didn't pan out that way. So yeah, no, that's fair. It's fair. I just had to ask the question. Like, bring up Jason Dominguez, I will bring up Jason Dominguez.
Yo, real quick, if Volpe's staying with 77, Dominguez has to wear 88. Judge 99, Dominguez 88, Volpe 77. Which, by the way, I'm just bringing up random thoughts here. Yeah, where do you stand on the Volpe number thing? Not that you care, but it's interesting.
I do care. Very, very much.
Me too.
I love 77. I think it's double Mickey. Like, I don't know. That's just and your boy Aaron's just made the 99 so cool.
Yeah, yes and no on them. Pat said that to me the other day too. It's like, well, 99 was nothing and Judge made it cool. I don't exactly agree with that because 99 in its own right is cooler than the other ones, like 88 and like 66. And like there were some players like Manny Ward, Torkelson, the superstitions guy with the Mets. But anyways, I was on the train of I wanted him to wear 0 so bad, which I'm sure you find gross. Just for the fact that last single digit, it seemed like it would just work. Not gonna happen now if they're on. There's also 11. Yankees, they usually out of respect for players not gonna retire, they give like a year off of the number being in circulation. Brett Gardner not here last year. I don't think they gave it out. Now it's back in circulation, assuming they're not going to retire it. Obviously, I would assume they wouldn't. 11, 13 maybe? I don't know. If you're not going to retire A-Rod, that could be a possibility. But I've kind of changed my mind over the past few days just because it's like watching that interview with Volpe where he was talking about that you may want to keep it. It's like, yo, like this number is pretty special. I mean, when you think about it, yeah, double Mickey, like I'm kind of about it. And the number is cool. So I say just stick with 77.
I think it looks so much better in pinstripes than it does on like when he wore it. I don't know why. Excuse me. Anthony Volpe. The Yankees wore pinstripes like one random spring training game. They were wearing pinstripes, and he was playing, and he was wearing 77. I was like, that looks.
Yeah, no, for sure. They switched it up like over the past couple of years, where I think Friday night games or something they also wear them along with the home opener. But you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Cash is off the top of my head. Alternate uniform, totally against, or would you consider? I say never at home. At home. You always wear pinstripes, but on the road, I look at the 2019 Players Weekend, the black on black. Not quite that, but if you take the Midnight Navy spring training jersey, this is kind of crazy getting out there. When you take that Midnight Navy, New York on the chest, put that like navy on navy with like the same color pants. It's crazy, I know, but dude, I wouldn't be against an alternate jersey on the road. I think it would be.
No, I don't have any problems with road jerseys being fun. Like I've learned like through just honestly like young fans, and I'm really trying to like just not be the old guy. And it's like, yeah, like if they want to wear black jerseys on the road, they can wear at home. Just wear the pinstripes. Like you can't mess anything up there. But when they played the Dodgers and they were wearing those all black uniforms, like at first I was like the old man yelling at the sky, and then I'm like, wait a second. That looks really good. Like, I changed my tune on it.
I hated it at first only for, not the uniform, but just the idea of, when was the last time Yankees were in LA to play the Dodgers? Like, let me see classic whites in the road grays. So I was tweaking about that. And the white ones those years, that year, were gross. Like, that looked like blank coloring pages or something. But, yeah, man, those black ones those were nice, dude. I like them.
All right, last fill in the blank. The Yankees will have blank wins in 2023.
95 and 67. They're going to beat the Blue Jays by 2 games. It's going to come down to the wire. I think they're going to get off to like another good start, not like historical or nothing. I also don't think it'll be like a historical collapse. I think you're going to look at to where the Yankees feel somewhat comfortable, maybe like 5 or 6 game lead at the deadline, and then starts to get a little bit closer. You're getting yourself a race, but in the end, 2-game lead in the division, they win the AL East again. First time back-to-back champs since that would be what, 2011 to 2012. So
You got all the stats. You're ready to go.
I'm just thinking off my brain. It's the ADHD. It's the ADHD, bro. That's all it is.
No, I mean, hey, listen, that's great stuff. Basically you are Vegas because Vegas has them pegged at 94.5, I think.
Oh, word.
Yeah, it's basically
Nice.
Vegas Dan. Vegas Dan.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Here's the part for Hillel, our producer Hillel. He's gonna ask 2 questions. This segment is called On the Hill. Hello, go. Have you have any questions for
Still
Dan?
hello.
Or we messed anything up? Tell us what's
Oh no, Dan's got the stats perfectly. I thought I was gonna come in here and have to get all the stats up, but Dan's taking it off all himself. So appreciate that. But first, I want to ask you, like, what are some advice for like a young content creator? Anyone who wants to start young, balancing school, balancing life, balancing work, all that stuff.
Well, the balancing work stuff, I definitely can't give any advice on that because I'm horrible at that. But my advice would be, and I say this to everybody, especially like my age, just like high school kids, like trying to, I don't know, get in the business or whatever. Unless this is what you want to do, don't try to like be a member of the Yes Network. Like, say your opinion. Doesn't mean you have to drop F-bombs with it, but like however you feel, don't worry about like, so we were talking about like Yankee baseball and all that. Like, don't worry about like people thinking you may sound dumb or you saying something that, I don't know, an organization may not like, because in the end, if you are going to operate that way, nobody's going to listen to you. And why should they, really? So like, as long as you, and it's kind of cliche, but I'm not just saying like, oh, be yourself. I'm saying be a kid. Like, don't try to root as, a 15-year-old trying to act like some 30-year-old, like mature Yankee fan. Like, nah, feel the passion, feel the fire when you're watching a game and react the way you feel. And I feel like I think that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah, that's great. I want to ask you some season awards, like dark horse predictions. Are you going like, who could you pull out of like back pocket, absolute left field for your AL, NL MVP and Cy Youngs?
Like under the radar pick, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure how under the radar this is, but when you're competing against Ohtani and Judge, I'll go Julio Rodriguez for the American League. Is that underrated enough? I don't know.
I mean, I have him on my fantasy team, so that sounds good.
There you go. And nationally, I'll be honest with you, dude. I mean, it'll probably change this year with the balanced schedule. I watch baseball like it's like 1913. I don't care about the National League. Like, I don't look at their standings. I don't check their scores. All I care about is the American League. So I'm trying to think of players in the National League. But let's see. Last year, who won it? Who won the fucking MVP? I said friggin' right there, by the way.
It was
Dude, don't worry about it. We don't care.
Who was the MVP last year? I don't want to do it.
Pretty sure it was
Goldschmidt. It was Goldschmidt.
Yeah.
I'll go with Fernando Tatis Jr.
Wow.
Yep.
I like that.
What about you, Jimmy?
Yeah, but as far as it goes for the NL, I'm picking Paul Goldschmidt again. I mean, I love the guy, Team USA, Paul Goldschmidt. And I'm one of those guys, again, who is huge into the AL, huge into the Yankees. Sometimes I don't know a top 10 player in the NL, so I'm exactly like Dan there. So I think it's gonna be Goldschmidt again.
Yeah. One more thing on like the whole AL NL thing. Even dude, if it weren't for the fact that like obviously we're competing against them and how the other teams are doing matters, like I wouldn't even care about the rest of the AL teams. I am much more of a Yankee fan than I am baseball fan. It's like I remember, when I first started Yank Sav or whatever, which was like a little Instagram account at the time, I got like 1,000 followers and I got like a freaking high out of it. I was like, I got to do more of this, So I started up at Baseball Avenue. And within like 2 days, I realized like, I don't want to watch this crap. It's like, well, I don't want to call it crap, but it's like, I can't like fake passion about like watching the Detroit Tigers versus Miami Marlins. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not much of unless it's playoffs or WBC, you won't really catch me watching like a casual baseball game.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, honestly, when we were like going over like guests and everything for the show and stuff, I was like, so I guess we're going to get like 12 Yankees fans for the first 12 episodes because like, I'm a huge NFL fan. Like I can rock like I know 3 wide receivers on every single NFL team, but when it comes to baseball, it's like the passion, like I'm a nerd when it comes to football, but when it comes to baseball, it's like kind of like, yeah, Yankees or I don't really care. Like
I'll know the other players just from, I do baseball today with Chris Rose. So that has helped a lot, but just like from where my interest is at. Question though, what is the Jimmy Randazzo Show? Is it like everything? Like when it's football season, you'll talk about.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I'm going to bring on comedians. I'm going to bring on like people who do like fantasy football, and like eventually, hopefully, like we'll have our own studio and stuff. I told Hillel, I was like, listen, we'll get 10 episodes out with people like during the Yankee season. And that's exactly why I don't want to make like another Yankees podcast. No, like not even saying like in a bad way, but it's like,
I know exactly what you mean.
I want people to know who I am, like, and not even in a bad way, because I've run the sports show for the last 8 years and we have a little account and whatever, but it's like, I want to like be able to bring on like a funny comedian if I want to, like,
definitely. Yeah.
Like, and during the season, it's probably going to realistically be a Yankees fan, unless it's, you know, probably maybe another team once in a while. But I want to be able to like scream, like, you know, in the first week, if something's happening and I feel a way about it, like I can yell with another Yankees fan. But yeah, during the season, I could be bringing on like Giants fans, Packers fans, NFL reporters, all that stuff, and then mix it in. And really, you can make it your own if you do something like that.
Football question. I know you're a Giants fan, right? You're a Giants fan. Yeah. Okay. So I'm a Jets fan. I just want to ask your, outside opinion.
Yeah.
If the Jets get Aaron Rodgers, they at least win in a playoff game next year.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Are we winning 2 playoff games next year? I think, get us to the AFC Championship or whatever. I watch every Jets game, but I don't like take it home with me the way I do the Yankees. So I'm a little more casual. But get Aaron Rodgers, AFC Championship game. Like, even if you lose that, bro, think it's possible?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. If you do get Aaron Rodgers, first of all, the Jets become the number 1 story in the NFL. That's views for you right there.
Hell yeah.
No matter what. The problem is, and this is the biggest problem, because if the Jets were in the NFC, it's a no-brainer NFC Championship. You got Josh Allen, you got Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. You have all 3 of those guys. We don't know where Lamar's coming. So, yeah, honestly, the Jets are going to be a viable option to win a Super Bowl. But you have to get through Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. And like everyone's like down on the Bills, but Josh Allen is like an unbelievable specimen. And then you have other teams in there, like possibly the Ravens. I don't know what's going on with Lamar, but they would be top 4.
That's all I need. I'll take it, dude. Even just the buzz of this is part of my favorite, like one of my favorite things about like sports season is like the buildup going into it. I mean, like where we're at right now with the baseball season.
Right.
But this with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, if they do get him, which this whole thing is confusing me. We don't gotta get into it. But anyways, the hype going into the year would be sick to have a team that's actually like kind of would be respected across the NFL. Like that would be that's something that, I mean, maybe this is why I never fully ascended into like a full diehard Jets fan like I am like the Yankees. While, Yankees haven't won the World Series, I at least got a playoff contending team every single year. With the Jets, It's like, I was celebrating drinking champagne last year when they had a meaningful game in December. So it's like, I'm ready for the Jets to take me, bro, and just make me like a super fan as long as we get Rodgers.
And they do have the talent on defense. They are top 3 defense in football. Like they absolutely are. Sauce Gardner was a perfect, like they have the perfect fit. I mean, they have the coach now. I think that and also this is where the Jets fans, and this is something you can run with. This is where the Jets fans have like a little bit of an issue. Like, we don't want to give up a 1st-round pick for Aaron Rodgers. We don't want to give up a 1st-round pick for Aaron Rodgers. Like, well, listen, if you don't give up a 1st-round pick for Aaron Rodgers, he's probably going to stay in Green Bay or retire. And your second option is Lamar Jackson. And if you do want Lamar Jackson, you're going to have to pay up 2 1st-round picks for it. So
right.
You want 1 1st-round pick for Aaron Rodgers, or do you want 2 for Lamar Jackson? That's what it really comes down to.
Yeah, I know some people talk about, and majority of my football like opinions and like stuff I gather is just from watching the Michael K show. So forgive me, this isn't like the majority opinion, but I guess Rodgers had a down year last year, right? But wasn't it not bad still? Like he was still a good quarterback. The way I see it is from what they were describing how he was last year, well, maybe regressed a little bit, sure. If the Jets had him last year, we'd probably win a playoff game. So it's like, going from Zach Wilson to that, which by the way, Jimmy, you know what my last 2 Jets jerseys are? Zach Wilson. No, last 3. Zach Wilson, Sam Darnold in the new jet green, Sam Darnold in the old jet green. So I need something good here, bro. I really need something good.
And I'm like I'm right usually on football. I was totally wrong on Zach Wilson. Like I was watching BYU games, taking Zach Wilson like minus 17 and a half. Like, and I probably hyped him up a little bit too much. I could have been a little bit of the guy rolling the ball like with Zach Wilson. So he doesn't look like he's the guy. He doesn't have the attitude, right? What as far as regression goes for Aaron Rodgers, it's not Aaron Rodgers' fault that he didn't want to like. He doesn't want to be this old guy who's teaching rookies new things. And like, that's just not who Aaron Rodgers is. And like, maybe Brady would have worked with people in the offseason, but his arm is still elite. It's the best arm in football. Like, I mean, Patrick Mahomes is the exception to every rule. He is like the golden child right now. But Aaron Rodgers can absolutely win a Super Bowl with the New York Jets if they get it done. And if they don't, I guess they're going to use 2 first-round picks on Lamar. And if they don't, if Zach Wilson's starting or some random guy, I mean, like Jameis Winston or something, I mean, it's Rodgers or bust right now.
Oh, without question, yeah. I one last thing on it. With Zach Wilson or with Aaron Rodgers and like not wanting like mentor young players, I was wondering like, is this the only way Zach Wilson could have a future with the Jets? Is if like he sat back behind Rodgers for 3 years, I don't know, and like learned something from him, or is that just not how Rodgers rolls? Like, I don't know.
I mean, listen. No matter what, like if you're around someone who, like that's great. No matter what, you learn stuff from
rubs off on you.
Yeah, exactly. Like you see how they prepare. Like he might close the door on you when he's preparing, but you see, oh, Rodgers is in the room at 6 a.m. Oh, Rodgers stretches this way. Oh, he's doing these workouts. I've never seen anyone do that. He's throwing the ball this way. Like what's going on? So I think it rubs off a little bit. The issue with Zach Wilson right now is it's a 4-year rookie. Rookie deals are 4 years long.
Right.
So this is his 3rd year. So Rodgers is going to most likely get 2 years. I've heard him talk. Like I've gone way back into the weeds. He's going to be around for exactly 2 more years.
Okay.
So you're not going to pick up the 5th-year option on Zach Wilson before the 4th year. You have to make a decision on that. The same thing that happened to Daniel Jones.
Right.
Basically, you can tag him if you want, but
they wouldn't. Yeah.
Exactly. So he's, for all intents and purposes, unless Aaron Rodgers comes and gets hurt, or Aaron Rodgers doesn't come and you guys are kind of screwed anyways, I don't think Zach Wilson's going to be a prominent Jet. Maybe he can go and do it somewhere else. And honestly, I wish the best for him because he won me a lot of money at BYU, but I don't know. It's tough. It's kind of tough. I don't know. I think we're in the middle. Hold on. You have another question?
Oh, yeah. I have one more question. Just like a fun question. So I know I convinced my dad to let me play hooky on Thursday from school.
My man, let's go. I used to always do that.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, did you pull that off when you were a kid? Did you always take opening day off?
Hello. Oh, my freak. First of all, yes. I don't know if I ever went to school during opening day. If I did, I absolutely left early. But by the time I was in high school, I actually had a pretty dope system working because when I was a senior, I had like 8,000, 9,000 followers on Yankees Avenue, which once again was just like a little Instagram account at the time. And I had 2 or 3 guy teachers that were like hyped about that. And shout out, especially Chris Lombardo, my senior year chemistry teacher or whatever it was. He would legitimately just, when it'd be 1 o'clock, just for any random game throughout the year, when it'd be 1 o'clock, he would let me go down to the library and like watch the game, and also let me go down to the library to like write articles, which I was doing at the time. I don't think, maybe 1 or 2, at least from middle school on, maybe 1 or 2 Yankee games I missed because of school. Outside of that, I always left early. Now, I'm not encouraging that. People shouldn't take life advice from me. I just knew what I wanted to do. It's like, yo, I ain't going to college. I mean, I dropped out of college essentially because of the Yankees in a way. I mean, I was already about to drop out a month in, but then they got eliminated by the Red Sox and the ALDS, and that was it. I was on the fence, and I just needed that one little thing to push me over the edge, and that was that. Yo, I was like, damn. Yo, when Gary first made contact on that, remember that ball he almost hit out against Kimbrel in Game 4? When he made contact, I was like, oh shit, maybe I am staying in college. Catches it, nope, never went back. But yeah, so that's my relationship with school and baseball. Props to you, Hillel. That's awesome.
In school kids.
Yeah, stay in school.
No, same way though. Same way. My dad used to take me out at 3rd grade for every year. The teachers would laugh about it. The principal would laugh about it. They're like, "Oh, your dad's picking you up like for something," and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, we're going to the game." So apple doesn't fall far from the tree. He was sitting next to he was sitting next to Joe Torre's sister in the '96 World Series. So like,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Like just by coincidence, or like he like knew them, or
yeah, he was coincidentally, and then they started hooking him up with tickets because they liked him. I mean, he's a crazy person.
that's sick.
That's as crazy as any of the three of us. He has a lucky towel that he brings to the game. So he's an absolute maniac. So
do the Yankees hand out towels at playoff games? By the way, is that a thing or no?
They did last year one time. I tried to go to every single Yankee game, and honestly, I think like that kind of hurts my content creation because I like kind of just go and I'm like, well.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying before, man. Like, that it's tough going to games and like because then you gotta. I'm not sure what like the commute's like for you. I mean, I'm in Hoboken now, so it's like a little bit easier and whatnot. But just like getting there and getting back, that's how I am with anything. Like, yo, you want me to go to somewhere? I'm down for what we're talking about. I'll be at the event, and obviously, Yankee game is awesome. But like the before and after, are just like I know it's not what you're saying, but also just for me, it's like it's such a process that like for like the benefit of Yanks have, I usually just can't do.
Yeah, no, honestly, it makes sense. And there are so many people that are just like have the clips going. And I'm like, you know what? That's not me. Like, I can't compete with that. Like, I'm going to start doing home run calls on TikTok. We have the new TikTok. I got rid of the Sports Show TikTok at Jimmy Randazzo Show now.
Nice.
But I just like doing voiceovers of plays, like just very simple that I don't have to get the clip up right away because the Yankees have a clip up. This place has a clip up. That place has a clip up. And I'm like, all right, well, I can just honestly screen record their stuff and get it up 20 seconds later. Like if I
totally. That's why I don't post on Twitter more. Twitter is just like an L. I mean, like shout out Talking Yanks, shout out obviously the Yankees account, a couple others too. But I just Instagram for me, that's like I get these fixations like I have to be first. So I just like, homework happens, clip it, put it right up on Instagram. But
your brand is great. It's absolutely great.
Thank you.
What you do, how passionate you are, like everything's perfect. But yeah, people get stuff up so quickly. I'm like, I don't know if I have that in me, but I do have do you have another question, Noel? I'm sorry. We can't.
No, all I was going to say was I have to say just like one more funny note on like the teachers segment. I got so much flack for telling teachers I wasn't going to be there on Thursday. So that was not good. But then I have a deal with my math teacher that I'll give him my MLB TV login if he puts on the game for us for an hour during his period. So that's a good deal.
Yo, that's a fantastic deal. And also will make you look like a total pimp in the classroom. So with that, one more thing on the teacher situation. I always found it so funny too, because like I'd be getting called out by my dad leaving early for school or for the opening day, and all the teachers be like, "Oh, you're going to the game, have fun." It's like, no, I'm just going to watch it on my TV, and like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah, no, we're gonna get you to one game this year.
Let's do it, bro. When I go nuts. Like I get the hard sodas.
You know what? I did see you with like a jersey on, like head to toe with cleats on. That's the stuff I love. And honestly, I do get playoff tickets too. So we'll be around. We'll be in touch. I mean,
playoffs, I'm always down.
You're not missing your Yankees Avenue stuff for that anyways. All right. Speaking of outrageous things, what's the most outrageous thing you've done as a Yankees fan? And I think you probably nailed it. You quit school.
Yes or no. I mean, so my current girlfriend, Andrea, we've broken up probably 3 or 4 times over the Yankees. I would say, I mean, it's probably just generically that, but I remember, I didn't even think this was that crazy till I was telling people, and I don't have a problem saying it because we're back together now. But before these most recent playoffs, I was talking about like just telling my boys now. I was talking actually to Trevor Plouffe about it, and I was like, we were talking about like why we were working out. And I was like, yeah, this and that, and like with playoffs coming up, man, like I just don't think I can do it anymore. He's like, bro, what are you talking about? Are you starting ALDS game 1? And I was like, well, when you put it like that, it's really just like little things revolving around the Yankees that affect. I put them first. I often put them first. So just that in general, I feel like. But I don't know if I ever had besides, I mean, I probably cried over a game last year. I sobbed when Aaron Judge broke his wrist. I shouldn't say sob, but tears left my eyes. Sob is exaggerating. Probably just that, like getting emotional over them and letting them affect stuff that many would consider to be more important. And
if I do have any advice for you, it's just the off days. Just be so on the off days, and then also the 2 hours is going to help now because the 2 hour games. And then honestly, because it's hurt me in the past too, but like just be present with, especially during the off season, you got to be really present. And yeah, I know what
definitely.
listen, I'm right there with you. I'm psycho when it comes to that, and you have to realize, like, listen, it might not be that important that I'm doing Twitter Space hour 155 that really doesn't even promote anything or make me any money, and like slow it down a little bit. But
Yeah,
I get it.
Definitely. What about you? What's your craziest thing you've ever done?
I don't know. 2018 when they were playing the Red Sox and the thing, I drove straight to Fenway just to. When they lost Game 1.
So you went for Game 2.
I was there for Game 2.
Nice.
When he brought the boombox out and Gary Sanchez hit the home run and everything.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
that was a thing for a little bit.
It was a big thing.
Yeah,
big thing. No, like legitimately, like I was like, if we lose this game, I'm going to Fenway, and I had like huge plans. I think there was, I think I skipped the wedding because of it. Like there was like a whole trickle down effect, and I might have lost a couple friends because of it, but you know,
I think that takes a cake here. Missing a wedding for it. Was it like a close friend wedding?
I'm trying to remember exactly.
Respect though. That's
I
think that was like the one game or two I missed last year was I had to go to a freaking wedding, which I hate, by the way. Not a wedding guy. I don't like getting dressed up. I like the cut off shirt, you know.
You know what? I think the older you get, the more you'll appreciate it. I mean, you know, but I get it. You have Yankees on your mind, and I get it. I truly do.
Hey, so do you.
Yeah, I mean, though, like I'm getting a little older to the point where I have to like respect life, if that makes, like, because it does start to entangle everything. And my mom, God rest her soul, would always be like, dude, like just take a day off once in a while, and like you don't even know anything about the world, like all you can do is recite stats half the time. I'm like, all right, yeah, that's pretty fair.
Fair point.
Fair point. All right, got 2 questions left. I don't know, last question. You've been injected with True Serum. Okay. It's November 1st. Is Dan Allen Rourke going to be watching the Yankees in the World Series, or will it be another disappointing season?
Right now, it'll be another disappointing season. I can only speak on the current roster, which is good enough to get to the AL East. The optimistic side of this, and this is the way I truly feel, is they're good enough to win the AL East. Like I said, that gets them by until the trade deadline. So while this current roster may not be good enough to get past the Astros, I think they'll add a piece come July or come August that will be able to get past them in a series. But you give me Truth Serum. As of right now, I don't think this roster is good enough to get there. But it will happen. It will happen.
We'll
Does that make sense? Does that answer make sense? I just said it wouldn't, and it would. But
you know, I was writing it, and I was like, dude, I have to add the Truth Serum part, because you have to, like, when I'm interviewing, I'm like, you have to think about what you ask yourself. If somebody asked me that randomly, I'd be like, yeah, of course they're going to win. But if I was injected with True Serum, I'm the same with you. They're going to win the AL East, and they're probably going to fall short at some point. But the best part is, like, we don't have to project anything. It's going to happen or it's not going to happen.
Exactly. It's baseball, dude. And the whole thing I really want from the Yankees, and they're on their way there. Like I said, if they can, get that final piece of the deadline, just close the gap as much as possible to where it's a series. Anybody could win. Because in the end, that's baseball. I mean, last year, and part of it wasn't their fault, but ultimately they just weren't as good as them. It wasn't even a competition last year. Not even just because we got swept. That aside, just if you look at the teams, like in hindsight, I mean, we really weren't all that close. Would have helped to have Benintendi. Would have helped to have, some relievers healthy.
DJ.
But, absolutely DJ. Man, I feel silly not even mention him first. He's so huge this year. Huge. I know you know that. But anyways, get on the level to where you're kind of in the same tier. And then, it's baseball. It is a crapshoot. I actually don't hate when the Yankees say that, not to use it as an excuse, but it's a crapshoot, Get yourself another kick at the can, make yourself competitive with the Astros, and see if we can get past them. Because if we do, then I think we're going to win the World Series.
Absolutely. I mean, that's amazing. All right, Dan, it's been an absolute pleasure. Honestly, I'm really excited that you came on.
Hell yeah.
Nothing but continued success on Yankees Avenue. Go follow it, subscribe, retweet, Twitter, Instagram especially. He kills it over at Instagram.
Thank you.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to put this out like 11 or 12 tomorrow. And we're going to do a giveaway for the Aaron
Captain
Judge
and the Kid.
Anthony Volpe, the captain in the kid shirt for some winner who retweets and subscribes tomorrow. And yeah, I'm going to buy one myself.
Appreciate that, dude.
Alan Rourke, thank you so much for coming on.
Anytime, dude. I want to come back. I'm not sure how often I'm doing these, but like, yo, I think before the season ends or even way sooner than that, yo, I'm down to come back. This is a good time. Hillel, you're the man. We'll be talking soon, I'm sure. Jimmy, thanks for having me on, bro. I really appreciate it. And good luck, dude. Good luck. Episode 1, I'm still honored as hell. Special guest, you calling me? Episode 1? All right. Appreciate it, dude.